Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We are a commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. My name is Artem and here is the news. For 273 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. Russia conducted another massive missile attack against Ukraine, primarily targeting energy infrastructure, reports Interfax Ukraine. Overall, Russian invaders fired 70 cruise missiles at the territory of Ukraine. 51 of them were destroyed by air defense forces. Mayor of Kyiv Vitaly Klitschko said that out of 31 cruise missiles launched at Kyiv, 21 were shot down. At least 6 people have been killed, 3 of them in the Kyiv region where a missile hit a residential building. 36 more people were injured, said the head of the National Police of Ukraine, Igor Klimenko. As a result of a missile strikes, all nuclear, most thermal and hydroelectric power plants were de-energized, which led to a power outage for most consumers in Ukraine. For example, all units of 3 nuclear power plants that are under Ukraine's control have been shut down by an emergency protection system due to a decrease in frequency. The Energy Ministry informed that the lack of electricity affected the heat and water supply as well. The Kyiv mayor said that electricity and water supply was cut off for 80% of Kyiv residents. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine Mikhailo Fedorov announced a drop in internet traffic in Ukraine due to shelling of the energy infrastructure. According to him, communication towers and fixed-line operators switched to generators whenever possible. Mobile operators where the towers operate were overloaded with traffic. He said that the state helps to organize the delivery of diesel fuel to operators and providers, as well as in solving other operational problems. Due to the massive missile strikes, Ukraine initiated an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council at which President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the participants. He said that Ukraine needs partners' support to protect its skies. It needs modern and effective air defense and missile defense systems. Zelensky suggested the Security Council to adopt a resolution condemning any forms of energy terror. The president also invited the mission of UN experts to critical infrastructure facilities of Ukraine that have been hit or may be hit by Russian missiles. According to him, it is necessary to give a proper assessment of damage and destruction. It should be stated that these are strikes against the very infrastructure that ensures the lives of tens of millions of people. In the result of the attack on Ukraine's energy system, electricity was cut off in Moldova as well, reports Zerkalo Tizhnya. According to the Ukrainian energy system operator Ukrenergo, it happened because of a frequency jump in the energy network, as systems of Ukraine and Moldova are interconnected. Moldovan President Maia Sandu said, commenting on the situation, that Moldova cannot trust the regime that leaves it in the dark and cold, deliberately kills people out of simple desire to keep other peoples in poverty and humiliation. Yesterday, the European Parliament has recognized Russia as a state sponsoring terrorism and a state that uses means of terrorism, calling for its comprehensive international isolation, reports Ukrinform. The European Parliament reiterated its unwavering support for the independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. It demanded that Russia and its proxy forces cease all military actions, in particular the attacks against residential areas and civilian infrastructure, and that Russia withdraw all military forces, proxies and military equipment from the entire internationally recognized territory of Ukraine. The European Parliament called for support for the investigation of war crimes and crimes against humanity committed by Russia, with the subsequent prosecution of those involved, and for the creation of a special tribunal for the crimes of Russian aggression against Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed this decision and said that yesterday's missile attack against Ukraine proved that Russia's recognition as a terrorist state is true. The US Department of Defense announced another package of security assistance to Ukraine worth $400 million, reports Suspilne. The assistance package will include additional ammunition for NASAM's air defense systems, 150 heavy machine guns with thermal imagery sights to counter unmanned aerial systems, additional ammunition for HIMARS, some 200 precision-guided artillery rounds, some 150 Humvees, over 100 light tactical vehicles, over 20 million rounds of small arms ammunition, over 200 generators, spare parts for howitzers and other equipment. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.